Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway,
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry, so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth, where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the Esports Arena is the Esports War Room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.
wasn't the plan. Don't wanna demand it. I've done what I can. And I never mentioned the times you were rude. And I never mentioned when you hear the truth. Scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? You got me saying away. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. Same mistake. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. I don't like to leave things unresolved. Maybe it's madness. I'm begging you, please pick up the call. You're causing me damage. I should've known wasn't your fault. Don't even matter. I wasn't thinking clear, trying to take it there. Scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? You got me standing in the rain. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. Same mistake. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. I'm just standing in the rain, hoping I don't make the same mistake. Hand out, she holds. It's feeling like we've been here before. We're both so broke. That's something that'll keep us afloat. Don't walk too slow. We can't keep falling deeper again. Came too close and the taste so far from pure. A rush of blood, but we search for so much more. We've all been here before.
Alrighty, everyone, and welcome back to another Shenandoah University Esports broadcast. My name is Kevin Clayton, and today I am joined by Kyle, aka Kip, aka the Pack God, that you have seen multiple times competing while I've been on the desk. Today, he's joining us to watch some more Smash Bros. How you doing today?
I'm doing great today, Kevin. It's honestly a pleasure to be able to cast with you after so much time, and finally able to cast some Smash for SU. It's a great experience.
Alrighty, sounds good. Now, bit of storyline for those of you back home. What's been happening is with the hurricane that is going on in the south, the varsity Smash Bros team will be setting their match back a week. But there's more Smash Bros to watch. Smash Bros Academy team will be competing today, and that means we get to watch some Smash Bros. Action while also having one of our players talk over the match as well, giving a little bit more insight into what all can go into the strategy and stuff. So I'm super excited to hear what all you may want to throw in on the desk, especially with some of these new players.
Now, to be honest, I'm not the most informed on like what our varsity team's up to, because honestly, it's more of an Igloo thing. He's the coach. I'm more of just a varsity player, but every now and then I try to help their team whenever I get the chance to. But I'm really looking forward to watching them play, because I've seen them run a couple of scrimmages or a couple like official matches when we would have ours, or just whenever we could. But this is our first time going to actually like see them like live, so it's certainly going to be a nice viewing experience.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the matchup today, because we have Shenandoah up against Northern Kentucky University, NKU. This is the start of this NACE season for the Academy team, and overall, a lot of these names may seem a little familiar. Old Dominion has popped up on this broadcast a handful of times, but a lot of these teams, funnily enough, I don't think we've seen too much Smash Bros. Competition as much as we've seen them competing in Rocket League. So we're going in with only a little bit of knowledge for the opposing side, which is all good, but that means that we are going to have just a little bit of information about our players. For the context, there was a tryout held after the semester started,
Right.
and I think we had...
I was told like about like 17. It was an absurd amount, more than like me or Igloo could possibly like guess. We were expecting like, maybe like 5, because usually like every semester we get like maybe like 5, maybe 6 people trying to try out. But then when I walked into the arena that day, I just saw this massive crowd of people, and I was like, holy cow, that is a lot of people. And I got the good news that we were able to make a whole academy team from it, and I think that's an incredible thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, taking a team that has been relatively, like, the core of Shenandoah Smash Bros. Has been relatively consistent. Usually there's like 1 or 2 players brought in, usually starting off as a sub and then slowly brought into the main roster as people graduate. It's very standard, almost to your traditional sports. But because of the large turnout, not only did the main roster get 2 subs, but also this Academy roster now has a full roster of their own, with players such as Robot Ninja and Kenza, who I am super excited to see, because frankly, it's going to be their debut. It's going to be fascinating to see what sort of characters and strategies they've come up with. And from the little bit that I've seen, we've seen characters from like Joker to Little Mac. So we got the whole thing working here as terms of the tier list.
From what I've seen for our Academy team's roster, is a very big like tier gap in terms from everyone. Like, I believe we have Cloud, we have Joker, and then we go to Little Mac, Ganondorf. We have top tiers and a couple of the worst characters in the game. There is no in between.
Hey, and that's okay. I will preach it on this desk. I've done it before. If you love your character and are able to make it work, then by all means, play the character.
Of course.
But you're working a lot. You're putting in a lot more than you may see at a top level, just because at the top level, you're focusing more on the opponent side of things. You're focusing more on the aspects of like, what do I think my opponent's going to do if I jump, if I roll in, stuff like that, as opposed to if you're playing a character, say, like Little Mac, whose recovery is a little bit less so. It's more so about, how do I not get sent off stage? Like, I'll figure out my way in by nature of Little Mac having like armor and ways to dash around, feint attacks, all that stuff. But at the same time, the moment you're thrown off stage, you are the equivalent of a paper bag in the wind. So
for sure. Another thing, like, sure, like some of these characters may not be that great, but in the context of crew battles, like sometimes like the game plan like shifts a little bit, the meta like shifts a little bit. Like you'd see characters with certain mechanics, like let's say like Wario, that's a really good character, right? His main like way of getting those KOs with WAF, it's on like I believe a 2.5 minute timer. For a character that needs that time to charge up such a deadly move, in a crew battle setting, like it could be not as like beneficial for him if he were to start the game with less stocks, because he has less time to get that WAF before, you know, the opponent can take that final stock off of him. And then you have characters like Ganondorf with, sure, not good recovery, but he has such like, he just brings that fear factor that like, and especially in a crew battle, it could be like extremely like dangerous to like dip your toes into. So like, sure, like you may think like, yeah, Ganondorf's a bad character. It's just like edge guard him and, you know, he's done. So, but it's definitely like a different like dynamic in a crew battle. It's not so simple in a crew battle. Like, especially with like if the Ganondorf can just stay alive, rack up that rage, like you could just die in like 3 hits.
Yeah, and we've seen that on this desk before, where a character will live for 180%. You've done it yourself a handful of times, where you're living to percents that shouldn't even like grace the screen, and yet you hold on to it, and then suddenly characters die so much faster. I heard you and Igloo talking about the importance of characters holding on to their stocks and just like how valuable that can be, even if the tempo slows down. I would love to hear a little bit more about your thoughts on that when it comes to a crew battle game plan.
So yeah, like over the course of me being at Shenandoah, I've really learned the importance of like holding your stocks, because obviously like the less stocks you like lose, the better, but like it can really apply just about like anything, like in the context of like a competitive setting Smash. Like obviously like that's really nice in a crew battle, but imagine you're at a tournament, like if you can hold onto your stocks, that could just give you such a big like lead in like a tournament like set, because you just rack up all that rage. And if just learning how to play like more safe at kill percent and just like recognizing what moves the enemy has to just knock you out, it's so nice to just hold on to that stock and just run away with the game.
Oh yeah. And so looking more into this sort of crew battle format, right? It's the same deal for both teams. It'll be 4 players, 12 stocks in total, 3 per player. And going into this game, you'll have your initial 3 where you'll go in, and let's say Shenandoah goes up with a lead, but they lose those 2 stocks. Suddenly, while it may seem like, oh, it's 1 stock difference, what is that going to do? The information that is given, we were talking a little bit about it earlier when it came to like understanding what my opponent wants in terms of their game plan. In this, information does a lot for you. If you know what you want for the counter pick or what matchups you have in reserve for any given character, it can really help bring that momentum forward. And I love seeing that from you guys when you compete, and I'm hoping to see a little bit of that as these players get settled in, because we do see Igloo is kind of walking them through this process for the first time.
Right.
And so I'm super excited to see how this goes.
It's always so interesting to walk through new players to the crew battle process. Like they're always like, you know, it's first time for everything, right? So sometimes you can have a player who isn't like too familiar with the crew battle format, and you're like, how do stages work? Oh, that's a SD this amount of times since I won the last game, but I lost like 2 stocks. it's something that everyone will have to go through, like especially in a collegiate setting when all we do is crew battles. But it's just a funny thing to talk about.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited to see all these players are kind of talking, mingling with each other already. And again, love the new desk space where we can literally turn around and be like, yeah, look at these guys. It already seems like I'm hearing a little bit of laughter behind me. It's just they're all seeming to gel together already, which is something that I think is really great about the varsity roster. So I'm hoping to see that if they start to gel a little bit, it will carry over into what the academy will do going forward. We have gotten word that there is a button check going on, but that does mean we know the characters for this first matchup. It will be a Little Mac on the side of Northern Kentucky and Fox for the side of SU. How you feeling about that, Kip?
So, on paper, you might think that, like, oh, Fox just runs over Little Mac. Fox is just a way better character than Little Mac, but considering that Fox usually plays pretty grounded because he's very fast on the ground, not very good movement speed in the air, but, you know, fast faller. So, generally, you do want to play a bit more grounded with Fox, have a bit of, like, a rush down or, like, a whiff punish kind of game as well. But, like, Little Mac could do that really well, too, and since his grounded presence is just so scary with those like really quick normals and those like super armor and those smash attacks, you really have to be careful with Fox. So like, it is honestly not that bad of a matchup for Little Mac.
Yeah, every time I see Fox on screen, a lot I talk about characters having to play around a certain game plan. And Fox has moves that come out so quickly that it feels like 9 times out of 10, we could say 99 out of 100, you're playing around Fox being able to just close distances. You should really hold on to your air dodge after a couple of up tilts or like try to bait out the Fox to do something else. It can get scary. But with Little Mac, right, you do have just this brute force. You kind of match that ground speed, if not are a little faster. So I'm super curious to see if this will come down to a little bit more of a knowledge check between the players. Like, do you know, should I be jumping in? Should I be sitting back against the Little Mac? What sort of game plan it might take to get through 2 characters who are so incredibly fast that just want to run and smack each other over and over again.
Yeah, those sorts of matchups are always so interesting to me because they have like the same exact game plan, but they're aware of like what makes the other character like so like threatening to them. Like Fox, he has like, I would say he has faster buttons, but he has way more combo potential. While Little Mac is a lot more just hitting you like just once or twice, but getting a lot of damage in, and just the threat of his super armor and his smash attacks. It's going to be really interesting to see how this dynamic goes throughout the crew battle.
Yeah, it should be good. We are going to be heading in just a little bit. We are still getting some stage picks out of the way. There's been button check and all of that. But with all of that being said, I'm also curious, when you guys play against characters that are on Shenandoah's roster, right? Like this academy team has a Little Mac player. Do you think that playing against that player helps out tremendously for other opponents that play the same character, or do you think it is more of a player-based like decision-making process for whoever you're up against?
I believe that varies depending on the character.
Okay.
Like you have some characters that usually kind of play among the same amongst like the player base, but then you have some like pretty like more like I guess more variety with how they play in Little Mac, which you'd think that like Little Mac would kind of be more like centralized amongst like the player base. But there are some really good Little Mac players play a lot more like methodical, like especially shout out to like Peanut from the NDVA region. He's, I've had the pleasure of playing him before, and he plays a lot more like methodical.
Okay. We'll have to see if they play methodical here as we hop into game number 1, Little Mac versus Fox, and already 2 dash attacks are thrown out from both sides as both players are looking to just get that damage racked up right away.
And you just see Joe on the Little Mac here just ripping these smash attacks, and you know, kind of still trying to find out the pace of the game, because it's very important with Fox. With just how fast he is, you can be this the pacemaker, but since Little Mac is such a fast character as well, as Fox, you usually, I guess you're kind of on the back foot here because of how fast Little Mac is, just the presence of how this Little Mac player plays, you know, just sticking out with what works, just throwing out those very intimidating smash attacks with that amazing drag down out there, forward air, excuse me.
Yeah, and it's already looking pretty good. There is a KO punch on deck. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it, but he holds onto it, opting for the forward smash, catching out the side special from Fox, which will get a small lead started. It won't take out just yet. Oh my goodness.
A very daring KO punch attempt from Joe.
Man, that's gutsy. That felt like it was I need to hit him now or he will let this rip. I didn't think the KO punch would even come out. I am shocked that that trade occurred how it did, but still, that does mean that NKU still has the stock lead for now. Is Little Mac able to make it back to the ledge? He is with a counter to get back to the center.
That counter lasted way longer. Like, in my experience playing this game, I just don't know. It's just like, I'm just pressing buttons too much, but wow. That pivot cancel, that's taking the kill. Sometimes counters just last for so long, like way longer than you think.
Oh yeah. Now, Little Mac 164 KO punch on deck. Will we see it?
Oh my goodness.
It is ripped right away as now we have NKU taking the 3-stock lead, using Little Mac's potential to his fullest, going for the KO punch twice. One not connecting, but the other one doing just what it needs to. And now NKU takes the lead 12-9.
And you see with, I guess from what we can gather from that Little Mac is like, Little Mac's a lot more like brute force kind of. He kind of just like runs in, just throws in like a smash attack, which nothing wrong with that. There's not like no like shade thrown at any like Little Mac players at all. Because weirdly enough, you do see some like disparity among like how Little Mac players play. And that one just brute force through it all, which sometimes I feel like you might do with a character like Fox, who just tries to, I guess, do the same thing. Kind of just runs in, throws in some really fast normals to try to get you in like a very bad position to take advantage of.
And I mean, the armor aspect of it, I feel like there were multiple times where Fox was going in with the intention of like, oh yeah, I'll throw out my Nair and that'll be my combo starter and we'll be set, we'll be all good. And that would work against a majority of the cast, but Little Mac throwing out the forward smash would suddenly just take the hit and get 25+% back in return, which just adds to so much and it kills so early. It's wild. So I'm hoping to see whatever Shenandoah's game plan is going into this next round, that it will be a character who, if they can't deal with the armor, may sit back a little bit, or if they can deal with Little Mac's literal boxing, can they just make sure they're not getting a boxing glove to the face?
Right. And yeah, that is really interesting to see, because from what I'm noticing from Shenandoah Academy's rosters, we do have like half of our characters that are like very like fast and kind of like can very much like whiff punish. While we have our other cast of characters where it's kind of like Little Mac, where you kind of just like brute force your way in. And as we can see here, about to step up to the plate, we have Chiliad on Joker, which I could see playing like, I guess like gameplay wise, kind of similar to how Kenzo was, but Joker has way more aerial mobility, so Chiliad, she might be able to get some more mileage off of just playing in the air and playing on Battlefield. Try to take advantage of the third platform to try to potentially platform camp Joe here.
Yeah, and we do see already, I mean, the damage racking up quickly, but we talk so much about holding on to these stocks. It's very possible that Chiliad is able to hold on to this for a while, as 108% is racked up and the RSM meter is running just a little low. A very unfortunate air dodge will lead to Joe's Little Mac taking that stock, but no follow-up just yet, as we do see the grab going for the back air. It will not connect, and now Little Mac is just going to continue going and building up that damage bit by bit.
Yeah, as you can see, Joe getting these like really nice 2-frames with these down tilts. Oh, getting that jump flip with the RSM back air. How unfortunate for NKU.
Yeah, but that does mean that Shenandoah will take its first stock, and that's the momentum that they need to get back into this game. Arsene out, and now the back airs and the Agons are doing so much damage. Little Mac throwing out the F-tilt. It won't be enough, but the percentages are starting to even out a little bit, Kip.
For sure. But you do have to mention, like, without Arsene, Joker has like way less, I guess, options for killing people. So, Joker does have like kill confirms, you know, maybe like a drag down like up there, but it's not as accessible to him as it is for Lil Mac, just like with that F tilt coming from Joe to take that second stock off of Joliad.
Yeah, we do see already another stock taken off of the Joker, but the Little Mac player is now sitting at 100%. KO meter almost full. Arsene meter is full. Will it come out? It will not, as we do see Arsene able to keep that pressure going for the forward tilt. Is Little Mac able to make it back? He is!
Oh, no.
Using the shifting down air, and now the KO punch is gone. The Arsene is about to run out as both players are hitting kill percent, as another really good two-frame will be able to knock out the Joker.
Yeah, that's honestly incredible showing from Joe from NKU. Just really getting down those down tilt two frames. You have to consider with how Wi-Fi is. There's like those I believe like 4 initial like frames of delay at the very least. Is really, you can really tell that Joe's just really been practicing getting those down tilts to get that side B like we just saw to end the stock there.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, not to talk about it, but we are in an online environment. There is an inherent little bit of delay, which does make two-frame options like that difficult. So honestly, kudos to Joe. Like, you're doing an amazing job of getting these to connect. I loved that back air from SU, able to close out that stock and start evening up the percents a little earlier. But I did hear from Igloo behind us that it sounds like he's having a talk with the players, kind of walking them through, okay, here's what we're seeing from this player, here's what you need to keep an eye out for, don't be afraid to do this. And so I'm hoping to see whoever SU sends in next, that it may lead to closing out this Little Mac, and we may get to see some more of what NKU has to offer.
That's very true. I do believe we have a couple players left in mind. I think we do have Whaling number 5 on the Ganondorf. We also have ending game on the Lil Mac. I'm not so sure what else, we would send in, or what Igloo would send in for the side of Shenandoah Varsity Academy, excuse me. Because we do have, we already have seen those really fast and, you know, whiff punish heavy characters, but Joe playing a mix of like brute force, but also really like playing like dash back heavy, kind of just whiff punishing with Lil Mac's really good normals. It's really interesting to see what is going to go on from here.
Yeah, I am of the mindset that between the characters left, if we send out the Ganondorf, I think it could play out very well, because we've seen the Little Mac do a lot of counters off ledge, or like just walk up and counter and like punish the very fast movement of these characters trying to throw out just very soft confirms to start getting their game plan going. But for Ganondorf, he's a character that can say, if you're going to press counter even once, there's a giant sword that will take your stock at like 50 against Little Mac.
For sure.
I don't know. We'll have to see. But either way, frankly, a Little Mac Ditto could just be as funny. We'll have to wonder what the players are going to choose.
Well, it looks like that time might not come right now, because it looks like Shenandoah Academy is sending in Whaling number 5 on the Ganondorf.
Okay, so with that, I'm hoping we will see a little bit more of that hard call out, that approach of just brute forward wail on this Little Mac, but understanding that you still can get those counters in. We do see the battlefield once again. Will that come into play? We will have to see, as 2 dash attacks from Little Mac will add up a little bit of percent, as Ganondorf is sitting on the platform saying, I am not going to mess with you until it is my time. There it is.
Go, catching that jump with the Nair. Okay, another Nair, a little too greedy from number 5. Again, that side B tech chase there. And already having the KO punch. Oh, amazing weight from Joe to take that stock with the KO punch.
Oh man, we've all been there. Any character that has a dash has done that exact interaction at least a dozen times, where you're just expecting your opponent to walk towards you when they're back at the ledge, and yet they opt to just sit there for a second, take their time, and it leads to a very awkward interaction. But already we're seeing the Little Mac at 105, still holding on to 2 stocks, as Shenandoah's Ganondorf is at 66. Will he be able to find a way to close out this stock? The down tilt connects, but it won't be enough just yet.
I'm really liking this patience from Joe here, like really recognizing the burst range from Ganondorf here. As you saw with that side B to try to take out that KO punch. Just waiting there and just letting it rip with the perfect whiff punish. Same thing with that Wizard's Foot coming from wing number 5.
Oh, Lord.
Wow, what an amazing dash attack. Just 1 frame off, would have gotten that stock. Wouldn't have lost that stock to up smash, but definitely would have done a big hit to him.
Man, I am shocked that Wailing number 5 had a held on to his double jump for that entire interaction and was able to get back onto the stage, as we do see Joe take another stock, but the percentage already starting to build up as Little Mac is once again starting to feel the pressure just a little bit, but the KO punch is online, and it is immediately thrown out. It whiffs as a Ganondorf sword to the face almost takes the stock.
Sure, and I really like the platform use from Joe here, because for a stage like Battlefield, you may think that's really bad for Little Mac players, but some Little Mac players will argue that this stage is really beneficial for him, because if he can get that tech chase, maybe from like let's say, oh no, what unfortunate SD coming from Joe. I saw what he was trying to do with that down air, because well, you may think that all of Little Mac's aerials are pretty useless. Aerials like Nair and down air, they're niche little uses. I saw that down air. It has like a tiny bit of like a semi-spike. So, and what I mean by that, it doesn't like full-on spike them, but it just sends them like slightly downward. So it's like an awkward angle. Maybe trying to fish for like an unlucky like buffered air dodge from Wailing number 5, but unfortunately didn't work out for them.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, I don't know. It feels like I don't think that Wailing number 5 had his double jump in that interaction, so I don't know if he would have been able to grab the ledge. It would have been close. So
Yeah.
I don't hate that choice. I think it definitely has its place, but Wailing number 5 recognizing, okay, I'm off the stage. At the very least, I got to go for this up special. If it grabs Little Mac, I'm taking the stock. If it goes slightly above, I get back to stage. It goes for the ladder, and frankly, it plays out as he barely sneaks in, and Little Mac can't grab the ledge.
Got a little too greedy, that edge guard there, but maybe a little too ambitious, some would say. But as I was saying with the Battlefield choice, you'd usually think that it's a really bad stage for Little Mac because you can just platform camp him.
Yeah.
But for the case of Little Mac, he can actually get a lot off those platforms when he's like tech chasing, because if he gets like a down tilt, it sends like at a perfect angle to hit your opponent on top of one of those platforms to set for a perfect tech chase scenario. If he can get like the back hit of like his up tilt, it could lead into like a very like deadly like up B kill, because once Little Mac starts his up B from the ground, it's a lot stronger. I've seen this come out from Little Mac players that I've played in my competitive experience. Like I've played Peanut, to mention again, but there's this really good Little Mac player from New Jersey, which is the region I'm from. His tag is level 6, and he's definitely made those like uses from those platforms to get those tech chases, and it's really cool to see the Little Mac players just so loyal to their character and just stick to like innovating the meta with the character.
Yeah, well, speaking of the meta, I think we are seeing a polar opposite of what we saw just a minute ago. Going from the bottom straight to the top, Steve is on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, and this matchup seems a little rough.
It's actually, you may think it's pretty bad, but it's not actually not too bad for Ganondorf.
Okay.
While Steve may very much outframe data, Ganondorf just has such strong aerials and like decent hitboxes now, so we can just deal with the Steve from camping. Oh my goodness!
My lord.
a very ambitious up tilt coming from whale number 5, and I can see whale number 5 just stepping on the gas here, maybe just trying to stop somebody from just farming those materials. As you can see, somebody has no materials, and when Steve has no iron, he's like a significantly worse character because he's locked out of two of some of his best moves, like minecart and the downer anvil. As you see that minecart there, but it's not powered, so it's significantly weaker. Oh no! Barely missing that nair and getting with punished with that wood forward air, sent straight down.
That
into
hurts.
that stock.
Man, I saw it. The moment out the gate, Ganondorf gets, what, 2-3 nairs, starts building up the percentage early. I'm like, oh man, I'm a believer. And the last nair just barely misses, and suddenly there's a pickaxe to the leg. That hurts me. That hurts me, but at the same time, welcome to the crew battle setting. Stuff like that happens, and so hopefully we'll be going into this next game just kind of brushing it off. This is a character that has seen a lot, so who knows, there may be experience for the side of SU to potentially bring this back, but 9 stocks is a pretty heavy ask.
Yeah, it's a very much a tall order, no matter what character you're playing. Like, even if you're playing such like a good character like Steve, or like a really good character that's really good at making comebacks like Kazuya, like that's still such a high task to achieve. You don't really see it happen very often in crew battles, like especially with a lead this big. Usually you just see eventually it would just wrap up from there.
Yeah, and so I wouldn't be surprised if Shenandoah's players are sort of talking about, okay, what sort of adjustments do we need to make going into this next one, as to like who do we want to send in against the Little Mac first. While it may have originally been like, oh yeah, I play Fox, I think I'll be fine, and then it didn't work out great, that just means, okay, we'll save you for someone else, and maybe we send in the Ganondorf against the Little Mac. I'm a believer that generally, if you win a round of a crew battle and you go into a game 2, usually the winning team does not change their order too much.
Right. So if you're in that winning position, there's most of the time there's not much of a reason for you to change your game plan. But if you're on the side of Shenandoah, you might want to take the rest of this game as like just a way to gather information and to how to take that into the next game.
Absolutely. Now we will see Cloud on screen. Robot Ninja going for the up special immediately at the gate, and Steve racking up the wooden combo. But a Cloud up special will bring the percentage up on Steve just a little bit, as a nice back air will continue to add on to it.
Now this is a matchup that's very interesting because it's one of like Steve's only like few like losing matchups. Like you can see on like the top levels of Smash, like Spargo versus like Aquila. It's really hard matchup for Steve because it's just Cloud just has a really big sword, and with just the long range like pokes from Cloud, it's really hard for Steve to mine because just the big sword from Cloud just getting in the way of just him just freely mining with his blocks. Oh, okay.
Oh, the Steve going off stage, able to get back on. He doesn't have a sword.
Yeah, he's maybe trying to save the materials for the next stock. Who knows?
Yeah, might be just trying to fish for that diamond. He did get a little bit of mining going. You very well could be just trying to hold on for a little bit. And so we see Cloud eating another up smash, but is able to hold on and starts racking up the percentage in return with limit on deck. Steve getting the resources, still no gold, still no diamond, so it could be a little bit longer before he gets out stock, but the up smash, you don't need a sword for that one, which means that that will give a stock to NKU.
And yeah, I really see like Robot Ninja trying to step the gas a little bit just to prevent Steve from mining, but you can see like somebody playing a more like unusual form of Steve, playing a lot more like scrappy, not really like, I wouldn't say ignoring like one of the core parts of Steve, which is like playing defensively to mine. There's a diamond. A good thing that they just lost their stock there, so now they have a fresh stock with the diamond. very threatening. That's where most of Steve's kill power comes from. Oh, look, these shenanigans with spot dodges. Oh, man. You can tell both these players are incredibly nervous with how, with like their mechanics on, because you can see Steve with the diamond and Cloud with the limit that he just had, but getting a nice tomahawk cross slash, trying to catch the landing. You can see that Steve has no iron to cover their landings with a down air or a minecart, and misses the up B. How unfortunate.
Oh, man. Okay. If I am Shenandoah, I'm feeling pretty good. You just knocked out Steve, only losing 1 stock out of that entire interaction. And frankly, that's pretty solid. If you're going to go into this assuming, like, really playing for the reverse of, like, 9 stocks, losing 1 per character or per opponent is considered to be the average. There's 1 player you're going to have to try and lose none. But up until that point, you got to be feeling pretty good. I mean, look at the cross slash value and just a very strong up smash from Steve, but not able to close it out. And I think it's just because he didn't have the tools built at the time.
Right, I feel like somebody was playing like a little too aggressive there. Like, I know it might be scary to deal with a big sword character like Cloud, you know, having those really big aerials, especially that back air, safe on parry. It's a very absurd move. Just like, when a character is so good at that mid-range, Steve's put in a very awkward situation. He doesn't have the best burst range. Like, he has a dash attack, but it's not really used for killing. It's more of just a get off me tool. It doesn't really do anything but that. So if you're Steve in that situation, if I'm playing Steve and I'm putting that mid-range situation versus Cloud that's just like fishing for those back areas, that's really hard for the Steve player to contest because of how safe Cloud back air is. You put this 50-50. Do I keep mining or building walls, or do I try to swing and try to get some more stage control so I can get more materials and build better tools?
Yeah, so when we see this Steve again in the next round of this crew battle, I'm hoping to see a little bit more of that. I love this is going to sound weird. I know I'm going to be hated by the Smash Bros. Community, but a good Steve can be interesting to watch. It can be like, it's just like, there's so much going on in terms of just like setting up your game plan and then going for it. But at the same time, no one likes watching a zoner, and so I understand both sides of the argument for that. It's, I don't know. But I want to talk a little bit about what we know about NKU. There are 2 characters that Igloo mentioned, which were a Joker and a Sephiroth player, were the 2 that we could see ahead of time, but we don't know what sort of, like, if that was an old roster or if it was something that they had in reserve. Well, sure enough, we know at least one of those players is true, as we do see the FCON Joker is out to play, and will Cloud be able to do well against this matchup? We will have to see.
I think that's so interesting. Like, right off the bat, like our first Shenandoah Academy match, like, they're playing against a team that has like half their roster of the same characters. Like, you see, we've seen Tilliad on the Joker, and in the back we do have NM Gaming on Womack as well. It's so interesting to see.
Yeah, we do see the cross slash already taking the stock.
Wow.
It hasn't even been a full minute, and yet Robot Ninja is already able to close out a stock, catching out the Joker jumps a lot from what I've been seeing. And I'm hoping that if this game plan continues, that means that Robot Ninja is doing pretty good.
For sure. If you're on the side of Shenandoah Academy, you do see, you could feel a bit of like a spark, like a little bit of a fire being lit up as, oh no, as Robot Ninja trying to make this comeback happen. Getting the lucky limit to get back on stage, avoiding the edge guard coming from FCON. Great parry with a perfect plunge of the up B. Tried to take off some of that Arsene, falling out of the up B. That's so unfortunate.
Oh, no.
That was a scary thought. When you're down a stock versus Joker, he has Arsene. You know, those nerfs from a very long time ago. Joker takes a lot more like meter off of his Arsene meter when he gets hit. So you are a little more incentivized to hit him so he can lose that Arsene. Getting that jump clip with the down gun. Oh
Hurts.
no.
Oh no.
NKU taking game 1 in the series with the Gimp from FCON on Joker with the down gun.
Oh man. I mean, I don't know what to say. When it comes to Joker's neutral special, I feel like you never remember that move will put you into the hit stun for half a second until you are in that sort of situation and you're like, oh god dang it, it took my jump.
Right.
It's awful. It's never a good feeling.
And especially down gun, it's one of those moves where when you get hit by it, you're in such an awkward situation where you think you might need to tech when you're off stage go to not get stage spiked and just die at 30 or 40. So you end up second guessing yourself and you buffer and air dodge, and so you end up just not needing to tech, but so you just air dodge away from the unfortunate buffer system this game has, and it's just not a good feeling.
Yeah, it hurts, but all the same, that is not the end yet. As with the crew battle format, if you've been here before, you are very familiar. It is not a one and done. You are playing a series, which means that we could see a return of SU, and there were signs of life. That Cloud player was very strong and definitely had a commanding presence. I'm almost wondering if you send them in against these characters that were a little bit more problematic, just because these players like Joe, the Little Mac, just seemed very aware of what he wanted. So it could be send in the Cloud early, try to get rid of that, and then go for the other players, give them an opportunity to go against them. There are so many different ways you could take this crew battle approach, so we will have to see.
It definitely brings up an interesting dilemma. Do you want to play this by matchup or by player? Because if you want to play by matchups, you want to save Robot Ninja for characters like the Steve, or we haven't seen NKU's 4th player yet. So you might want to save Cloud as a more of a safety pick in case they do send that 4th player, in case the character that Cloud is really well against. But you might want to save, for the Little Mac, if you were to assume that they would start Joe on the Little Mac again for game 2, you might have to, make a couple risks, or you really do have to think about who you want to send to take them out.
Yeah, and looking back at those last couple of replays, I don't know. If I'm Robot Ninja, I feel like those are the kind of sucks that you just kind of have to shake off before going into the next game. Because one of them was lost off of Joker falling out of Cloud up special, and then the other one was a neutral, off-stage neutral B interaction.
Yeah, taking your jump.
Right. It's just rough. But with all of that being said, I'm sure we will hear a little bit more from the players, but we are going to take a very quick break as the players get settled in, talk about the strategy, so don't go anywhere. We will be back shortly.
We've all been here before. We've all been here before.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
Over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
Nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway.
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
Cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry, so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth, where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the Esports Arena is the Esports War Room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.
Hand out, she holds. It's feeling like we've been here before. We're both so broke. That's something that'll keep us afloat. Don't walk too slow. We can't keep falling deeper again. Came too close and the taste so far from pure. A rush of blood, but we search for so much more. We've all been here before. We've all been here before. We've all been here before.
And we are back with more Super Smash Bros. Action with Shenandoah Esports Academy team. If you are just joining the stream, welcome. My name is Kevin Clayton, and I'm joined by Kip, Kyle, Dexter. And so, going into this, round one, we saw that Shenandoah sent in their fresh group of players ready for the high heights and the low lows, and they got to see a little bit of both in the middle of this. But we did hear a little bit from Igloo that he is getting ready to walk them through, say, hey, welcome to the format. This is kind of how things play out. Let's get a strategy going into these next couple of games. And so I am very excited to see what they will have going into this round two of the crew battle.
One of my favorite things about Igloo as a coach is just how adaptive he is. He isn't scared to make those kinds of risks when discussing strategy for the next game. Sometimes he doesn't just go for stick to what works. If he recognizes something doesn't work, he's not scared to make the adjustments to try to make something happen, and I think that's something really special.
Oh yeah, and that's a very scary thing, especially when you're coaching, is to understand, like, okay, something isn't working. I know a lot of people who will just brute force it anyway. They're like, well, then you might as well learn on the fly type deal. And there are situations where you have to, and I get it, but it's a dangerous mentality. It's a scary mentality. And when you look at other, like, traditional sports or other games where, like, understanding the ins and out of the game is so critical, taking the risks of changing up your game plan, the risk reward tends to be worth it tenfold. So I love to hear that. But we're starting to see a little bit of the behind the scenes. We do see Igloo talking with one of the players at the moment, but they're walking through sort of the stage's decision. I'm wondering, let's assume NKU is sending in that Little Mac first, that powerhouse player who took so many stocks. Does that mean that SU should try and swap up their character? Do you think that the Ganondorf might need to come in first, or someone else may try to zone him out? What is going through your head sort of going into this next round?
I believe, judging from the player cams, I do believe that is Chiliad up to bat first. Remember, Chiliad on the Joker. Unfortunately, got some pretty unfortunate, Arsene, inconsistencies, and she lost her stocks in a very unfortunate way to Joe. So I'm thinking that the way that Shenandoah tries to make their way out of this one is try to just really utilize Joker's incredible edge guarding potential. He has such amazing mobility. He can do tether cancel, it's a back air. He can just use down gun. He has so many tools to just dismantle Little Mac off stage, and especially if he has Arsene, you know, Joker's counter, it's a massive like hitbox. So if you just, you know, just touch him when he just presses that down B, you know, big circle, he just gets smacked.
Right. And so hopefully that's what we will see today, is a little bit of smacks across the face saying, I don't know what you're trying to get away with. But I believe we will be heading in just a couple of seconds, as Little Mac will be sent in first. It will be the Little Mac Joker matchup, which plays into what we talked about before. If it ain't broke, don't fix it for the side of NKU. Little Mac going in, trying to take this commanding lead like he did before, but will Chiliad be able to try and even things up? We will see, as immediately out the gate, I'm noticing Joker going for these trade hits and then walking away. So hopefully they can get that little bit of damage, but not risk too much. Otherwise, you will see interactions like that one where 40% is built up.
For sure, and you saw at the beginning of the game there, Chiliad definitely trying to step on the gas a little bit, maybe just try to overwhelm Joe a little bit. The Joker's just amazing burst option with the down tilt, with the dash attack. You can see Chiliad already having Arsene try to get those maybe those pokes with the down tilt, try to set up for an awkward like situation with how the angle of down tilt goes. Nice dash back F tilt from Joe. Already losing that Arsene. KO punch is online, barely living that F tilt. Trying to get that 2-frame with the down tilt. That was so scary. Oh my goodness. The quick feet coming from Joe. You see Chiliad so nervous about getting out the corner versus Joe. Okay, losing the KO punch, but Chiliad still in kill percent.
Yeah, and already we're seeing the forward tilts come out, but Chiliad doing a great job of holding down the shield when Little Mac is just going for one after another. I think that's where SU was struggling beforehand, was they were just letting go of shield just a little too early. These trades don't need to be problematic. You don't need to just see a Tekken interaction where it's someone hits you and then it's immediately the other person's turn. Little Mac can just keep throwing out these attacks. You got to be patient. So now, as we see Chiliad start to take a step back, Arsene is online, which means that this is where we may see the stocks taken, but a down tilt to the side special from the Little Mac will not get the stock, which means now Little Mac is the one in an awkward situation, but the back air will not connect. The up tilt into the up special will be able to close that out, and now Joe is at 104% with another KO punch, and Chiliad is sitting on the ledge looking to try and close this out.
For sure, and if you're Joe, I'm feeling pretty confident right now because he just keeps like wiggling his way out of Chiliad's like attempts at edge guarding. You see that Chiliad maybe forcing these edge guardings a little too much, and what I mean by that, like, she's just going like trying to swing to swat Joe out away from the ledge like way too soon. You can see that Joe is always trying to recover from the side whenever he can, and wow, great use of the counter, but the down gun's in the perfect direction. Good DI, that down the back throw. It's a little bit of a DI check.
Yeah, and I mean 170%. Little Mac trying to go up, and
go.
the Rebels guard able to put Joe into that tech situation, and the dash attack follow-up as Arsene comes out means that Chiliad is able to secure a stock early on. A very nice counter to punish the weight down tilt. And already, I mean, Joe is just really starting to rack up the percentage, and look how he sits in the shield trying to wait out this Arsene.
For sure. Like, something you see among Little Mac players, how brave they can be sometimes. You saw earlier when Chiliad still had Arsene, you saw Joe just run up grab twice in a row, and it worked immensely. Maybe like just knowing that Chiliad trying to just try to punish whatever like unsafe option Joe tries to send out with a tech chase. Oh, misses the punish, got the guess correct. Now kill percent, but does have Arsene. Maybe Chiliad could take one more stock before it can take it out here. Oh my goodness, these shenanigans with these F tilts.
There's a KO punch on deck. It won't be necessary to close out this stock, but it would go through shield, which may be what we see it used for, but it immediately goes away because of the Aegon side special. Little Mac going for the forward tilts and now opting to take a step back, not trying to go for too much as the forward tilt does connect, and NKU walks away with a different lead from last time, but a lead nonetheless.
For sure, and you saw with those like pivot cancel F tilts really getting some mileage there to close up the stocks. Chiliad falling out of one of them. That's something I haven't seen like in a long time. Usually that move is pretty consistent. Even with like the pivot cancels. You can see Olmac very much benefits from these pivot cancels because that pivot cancel F tilt, he gains so much momentum. He slides like almost like halfway across the screen. As you can see, what I was talking about earlier, Chiliad's going like a little, trying to force these edge guards a little too much. She's trying to force these edge guards just by trying to swap them out in the air immediately. And you can stop Joe with a little bit more patience, trying to save those resources that mean so much to Olmac for trying to get back, considering how, not great his recovery is. And even saw in that counter there, that's another thing why I think Olmac players have to play so bravely, because one of their ways that Olmac players try to get back is if they know their opponent's going to try to like swing immediately to get them off the ledge, they can use the counter to gain some momentum when they have the actual counter hitbox.
Oh yeah.
It's very risky considering if the opponent just either whiffs like hitting the counter, or just doesn't attack at all. The Olmac is pretty much dead.
Yeah, and I want to address, you were talking about those pivot cancel forward tilts, and that last stock was 3 or 4 of Little Mac just running up, doing it, and Joker falling out, but like, you were right. Little Mac slides like he's Luigi. Like, it just keeps going.
All the friction. Imagine like Luigi in the previous games where he had no friction and he would just slide across the stage. It is so funny to see Little Mac do that because, like, I don't know. It's a very
weird.
cool mechanic, but I think it's really cool that Little Mac players really like to experiment with this character. Try to like push his meta as far as he can possibly go because, like, I think it's really great that, character loyalty, but you can only go so far with a character, especially with a character like Little Mac. But it's so cool to see innovative Little Mac players try to push his meta, try to like discover and invent new things.
Yeah, I feel like that's been something that's been established like over the last like year, is for the longest time Ultimate's meta, or like the discussion of Ultimate, was you could play just about anyone and really make them work. And while there is a level of truth to that, it does feel like we are starting to hit a point where there is a level of these characters are incredibly good up through like top maybe 20. And beyond that, you do need to work a little bit more. So I'll be curious to see how that develops. But enough about the tier list, enough about the meta and all that. We got another match in front of us. Kenza's Terry Bogard versus Joe's Little Mac. I kind of like this.
Yeah, I believe this is a much better choice for especially on Wi-Fi, because Fox is an amazing character. But on Wi-Fi, like, it is much harder to play that kind of like left punishy like playstyle that a lot of Foxes try to go for. So I think Terry trying to fit more of like a more like, sure, Terry is also considered rushdown, but he has way more options that are better fitted for this current environment that we're playing in. Trying to get these like down tilts, you really see trying to fish for them. Oh, again, that whiff punish from that forwarder from Joe.
Yeah, Joe's just covering a lot of space, and now the KO punch is online, and Terry is at that sort of percent that would take it pretty early. But an up special doesn't grab the leg. Excuse me?
There's no way that hit from. I've never seen that before. That is unfortunate, but really absurd as well. I've never seen a KO punch hit like that before. I've never seen one hit so low.
There's no way that moved 2 frames, right? That's not.
No, there's no way 2 frames. I think Kenza just unfortunately missed the ledge with that EX Rising Tackle. Oh no, did not get the EX Rising Tackle input. The input where you hold the charge, because you know fighting games.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
We both are somewhat of a fighting game enthusiasts. We both know how charge input works. For those who don't know, charge input is basically you just hold down, for Terry's case, instead of just pressing up B, where he can pretty much just get like his legs swatted off, just get edge guarded and Terry just dies. Instead, if Terry were to hold down and then flick up and then press like A or B, he would do a better version of his rising tackle where he not only goes further, but his legs are intangible and can't get attacked.
Yeah, and I mean, I've talked a lot about invincibility on this desk before, specifically when it comes to Willie. Man, that KO punch is ridiculous. When it comes to the, like, what utility it has, sometimes it's a lot more prevalent than others, and that instance there in that replay is a perfect example of where it would. Because Terry would be invincible from the waist down on his legs, but he's upside down during that. So now suddenly he's rising up. Little Mac will swing at the feet, and it won't do anything. That is crazy. Suddenly that stock is held onto for a longer period of time. But there's a whole other aspect of that. You have to hold down off stage. And that's scary.
It's a very scary thought, because what if you like, because you have that little bit of like, I guess like self-doubt if you're like still like trying to learn the character, like, oh, what if I accidentally fastball? Like, Terry doesn't have that great recovery, so he would just die.
Yeah.
But you have to be brave, because especially with characters like counters like Little Mac, if he were to just counter like Terry's legs with doing rising tackle, Terry's just as good as dead.
Yeah, and so with all of that, that will just come with time. And frankly, this roster is still relatively fresh, which means that they will have time to get better. But we are going to be heading into the next round, and it will be Joe running it back with Wailing number 5, the Ganondorf. And I am hoping to see a more brute force action between the two as we run to Town and City, a very long stage.
That's a good point, Kevin. This is a very big stage, but you know, with how these side blast zones work, you're much more likely to have the side. And you can see with these characters, they really do like to kill off the sides. Even though they're both still fully capable of coming to the top, they do have more options of coming to the sides. You know, and oh my goodness, wow, it's barely living, but doesn't have a jump. You see, after getting that down tilt, Willie number 5 trying to jump out of it. It's more of like a desperate way to get out of that immense pressure Joe is bringing up, getting that jump caught.
Yeah, the whiff punish game from Joe right now is very impressive because he's doing such a great job of really spacing out even these little interactions, from Ganondorf just trying to jump onto the stage to just taking a quick step back. Maybe Ganondorf goes for the down air, but it's all just playing into his favor. Little Mac opting to jump in, jumping in again, but the Ganondorf Nair won't connect, and now Wailing number 5 is at 104 against the Joe's 29, and whoa, very scary.
Getting that KO punch, not that it really matters so much if you're Wailing number 5, but even so, even if you're at that kill percent, when Little Mac has KO punch, you still have that active threat with, if you just whiff something, you can just let it rip and just eviscerate your stock.
Yeah, and here we go. A solid 27% combo onto Wailing number 5. Not able to get the grab, but he's opting to take a quick step back, using the down special to try and close the gap. But Little Mac, again, just playing very reactive in this matchup, playing to the strength of being able to move a little bit faster than Ganondorf can. And so he's taking his time to throw out these options. And I don't know how you demand that pressure back as Shenandoah, where you need your opponent to start making these decisions preemptive. It feels like it's more of a fear thing, but I don't know what the best opportunity for that will be as a forward tilt connects and sends Ganondorf off stage, but he is able to make it back.
Right, you're really number 5, you're seeing pretty lost, trying to make something happen with that flame choke, trying to get a cheeky little tech chase to try to take that stock, but another pivot cancel Eta coming from Joe, taking that stock. He's still alive with those 2 stocks for NKU.
Yeah, and I mean, it is already starting to just feel the pressure. This character has so many tools to just bait out options. I feel like it's a two-sided coin, right? Where on the one hand, you need to be patient against Little Mac because he's trying to get you to throw out something, and he's been reacting, right? He's been doing the dash back, going for the pivot cancel F tilt or some other option, but it's just that same presence needs to be returned. But I don't know what you do to command that presence when your character is just so fast and able to keep that going.
Right. It's what I was saying before at the start of the broadcast. You know, we were talking about, like, characters like Olmec and Ganondorf, not so great, like, in a very, like, competitive setting. But, in a different format like this, you can see just, like, with the success of Joe, just how, like, scary characters like Olmec are in a format such as a crew battle.
Yeah, and that's something, when I competed for, like, 2 years for Smash Bros, that was the whole basis of my game plan when you're playing K. Rool, is you need to be scary. Inherently, people will talk about, like, oh, you don't have all of these tools that the better characters have, and that's very real. But at the same time, some of the tools you have are very good, and if you play around those right, then you become scary. Then you start getting in your opponent's head a little bit, and that's what you really need to capitalize on, is your opponent starting to throw out panic options.
Right. I like to think of characters in a crew battle saying, like, maybe like your heavies and like Olmec. I like to think of them as more of like school bullies, where like they try to seem like super intimidating at first, but like once I guess the victim would have that kind of courage to like stand up to them, they're not as scary as they may seem.
Yeah, I love that analogy. But we got one more round to go into, one more player for SU, as the Cloud player is on deck. Little Mac needing to drop on stock. There it is.
There you go.
Joe versus Robot Ninja. Will Robot Ninja be able to get that pressure going, start getting a little bit of a lead, or will Joe take a clean sweep? 12 stocks in total. We will have to see.
Right, as you can see, Joe, obviously playing very grounded. Robot Ninja trying to like play more out of shield game versus Joe. But Joe immediately trying to react to that by either trying to swing, try to pop a shield, a down gold forward smash, or trying to get a cheeky grab. Even though Little Mac can't really get much from it, he just gets that stage control that every character can get with a grab.
Yeah, and already, the percentage is building up, and a get-up attack onto the shield means that Robot Ninja will go down one stock. Both players throwing out their smash attacks. Cloud opting for the roll, but immediately, again, Little Mac is just ready and starts throwing out the forward smashes and the forward tilts in response.
All right, look at this pressure that Joe is right now. He's just like, oh my goodness, trying to contest that up smash with the KO punch. Didn't quite get the spacing correct because Little Mac is uncontestable usually with the grounded KO punch, while catching that landing with the pivot cancel F tilt. That's what I'm talking about, Kevin. This character really benefits from these pivot cancel F tilts and just this offensive pressure from Joe. Robot Ninja honestly feeling a little lost.
Yeah, it's just building up so much. It covers so much space, and it feels almost just I won't say clunky, but it just isn't what you expect when playing against characters in Smash. You're not always ready for these sort of momentum-based options, but still, we do see Cloud able to get that forward smash. Will Robot Ninja be able to stop Joe in his tracks, prevent him from going for the sweep on Shenandoah, or will Joe get this last stock and really just bring it home and prove a point?
For sure, and you're definitely riding this because you can see from the way they're playing, they're both playing like very panicky. They're both throwing off they're both throwing out very, very daring options. Great parry in the back air. Since it was not perfectly spaced, Joe was able to punish it with the side B.
Oh,
another amazing parry from Joe. Never mind about like Joe playing very cautiously. He's playing a lot very daring with these parries. So just straight confidence, trying to anti-air him with the KO punch. That is absurd.
Oh man, there's a certain air of just you could tell Joe wants this. He wants to write home about this. And will he be able to? A forward throw does come out. A great tech row coming out from Robot Ninja, but it won't be enough as Little Mac is able to get the shield off. He goes for the side special, but it won't be able to grab the ledge. The Cloud up special comes out, but he is able to shield. The forward tilt comes out.
Is he gonna make it back?
Is he making it back to the ledge? He
does not get two frame down to down smash. Amazing way from Joe, and that will be it. NKU taking the series 2-0 over Shenandoah Academy.
Oh man, it got close at the end where both players were throwing out their respective options to close out that stock, but the forward smashes and the F-tilts were just not enough. Both players were able to get their shield off multiple times, but it all came down to just one very solid interaction to close it out, and those F-tilts, man, they just command so much.
It's such a commanding move. Like, Lil Mac already such a very fast character on the ground. I'm just like, taking advantage of universal mechanics and slot him onto a character like Lil Mac who could really benefit from it. Like, you can even do it, yet we haven't seen it from Joe this series, but you can even see like a pivot cancel like up tilt. Just getting those really nice tech chases.
Yeah, so with all of that being said, that does mean that Shenandoah's Academy team will go down 0-1 to start things off, but this is the start of a new journey for the Shenandoah Academy team. They are going to be working with the Shenandoah varsity team. They're planning on all working together to get better at the game, increase that level of competition. So while yes, this is the very first interaction with another school and it did end in a loss, that doesn't mean that this story is over, and I hope all of you will join us as this story continues. But for now, we will sign off. So all of you have a great night, and we look forward to you watching again next time.
We've all been here before. We've all been here before.